standing in front of former President Jimmy Carter National Historic Site. And I'm here to say that if I don't stand up and speak out concerning my rights as a citizen in the United States of America, in Valdosta and Lowndes County in the state of Georgia, to let the active duty veterans, retired disabled veterans, and ordinary citizens understand that Sheriff Prine, Lowndes County High School Superintendent Wes Taylor, had no right to claim a criminal trespass warning against George Boston Rhynes when I cannot find a judge in the Southern Judiciary that have signed off on such a document. Now, if the Lowndes County Sheriff and if the school superintendent get away with denying me my right to attend a public school graduation when I had violated no law, much like the 15 to 35 blacks that was murdered in Brooks and Lowndes County in May of 1918, and nothing has been done about it. If I refuse to say something, it will be like Earl Evans being burned up in a police car in Quitman, and nobody says anything about it. If I be quiet, it will be like the Densons and the Wootons and many other blacks that have been killed in Brooks County and Lowndes County, along with white people, poor whites, and nothing have been done about it. If I be quiet concerning what happened to me, it would be like the 31 jail deaths in the Valdosta and Lowndes County Jail. And yet, Judge Hugh Lawson, the Honorable Judge Hugh Lawson ruled in June of 1997, found 60 to 105 violations in that facility, gave the then sheriff and county commissioners 2 years to bring it into compliance. At that time, there was only 2 to 3 inmates that have died. Today, that county are leading the state in jail deaths. And the strange thing about it, not even the Honorable Judge Hugh Lawson even followed up on his own court order to ensure that all the discrepancies that he found were ever corrected. And it's a sad day. If I be quiet, the fact that it was brought before the local NAACP that on the first floor of Moody Air Force Base, within the chain of command structure, there was no picture of the executive commander-in-chief of our armed forces who must go fight and die for this nation. Yet, they ignored him as if though his picture was not worthy enough to be in the chain of command. And I would have you to understand, I visited a full-bird colonel, the vice wing commander at Moody Air Force Base. I talked to the personal affairs representative. So you check that out for yourself. So if I be quiet, nobody will talk about the fact that at the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners meetings, there is a triangular shaped area where in all 4 TV stations and all the citizens that bring cameras to this public meeting are restricted to, and less than 2 good-sized tripods could even fit into that area. Something wrong with that picture. But if I be quiet, the fact that on all governmental meetings, citizens to be heard for the most part are listed at the end of the agenda after everybody else have left the meeting for the most part. It is as if though the old 1860 Valdosta City Charter mentality is alive and well. There was a charter that was displayed on the 2nd floor of Valdosta City Hall. In paragraph 100, section 11, leading into the Honorable Court Judge Edwards Municipal Court Judge Chambers, that read that the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arising from hogs, dogs, horses, and other animals straying at large in Valdosta. In 2004, as a retired military veteran, I took offense to that disgraceful charter. And former Mayor John Freddy and some more whites didn't see anything wrong with those words. Although black children, our children, was dying in Kuwait, dying in Afghanistan, dying in other wars of our allies that you don't even know about because it's top secret. If I don't say to the sheriff department and the Lowndes County high school superintendent, you talk about looking back into my past and finding something on me, will you also look back and see that something is seriously wrong in Valdosta? And I must ask you another question, my beautiful brothers and sisters. If I, and I was, stopped by a law enforcement officer, Deputy Thomas, and I heard it over the radio, that I could not come on to Lowndes County High School property because of a criminal trespass warning that have been in effect over 3 weeks. And until this day, I have not signed one piece of paper. I haven't heard one word from any judge, from any member of law enforcement, from any city or county government about it until the day of that graduation. It seems as if though the death of Kendrick Johnson and the protests and the help from Representative Tyrone Brooks, the late Senator Robert Brown, SCLC President Marstella, NAACP President Edward Dubose, and other civil and human rights organizations joined the Quitman 10 effort in respecting citizens' right to vote. Now, are we not a nation of laws? And if we are a nation of laws, all we can do is ask the question, if I was stopped and claimed and was accused of some type of illegal acts, I read the law on criminal trespassing. Nothing that I have done would even come in the neighborhood of a criminal act by an American citizen. Are we not? Is Georgia not a state of laws? Or have we reduced everything down to Democrat and Republican, black and white? They are more than black and white in this country and in the state of Georgia. There are more than just Democrats and Republicans in the state of Georgia. And do you not know, as I close, just like they denied me the right to move freely under our form of government, even our free press did not freely press a picture of the president in the Valdosta Daily Times when he won his re-election bid. The Equipment Free Press did not press a picture of the president of the United States of America when he won his re-election campaign. The Thomasville Enterprise did not press a picture of the president of the United States of America on its front page, but they did put a picture on the front page of Mitt Romney that he won the state of Georgia. Can't stop yet. In Madison, Florida, Madison County, Florida, 2 newspapers, the press did not press a picture of the executive commander-in-chief of all the children that are serving the state of Florida in the National Guard, serving the United States Armed Forces, disrespecting the parents of those children by not respecting the executive commander-in-chief of their children. What's wrong with that picture? Well, if you think that our children can just sit back and take what members of law enforcement or others shove down our throat, and then they'll write something out in their invisible law book that you have violated some law. Then they pick you up and they put you in jail and they get you started and they put you on probation, the new plantation of this dispensation, without any conversation from the religious community, from the civil rights organizations. And because so many mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers don't have the money to pay an attorney, they plea bargain. And now they got a court record, I mean a criminal record. And then they're set up for a life of crime. What say you? I intend to let the whole world know that just because you see black African Americans and poor white people going to jail don't mean that they are the only criminals. When was the last time you heard of the rich and those who our children know are committing criminal acts? Because a lot of our children are doing things further high, the blue-collar criminals, and higher above that. And our children know who the crooks are, because they'll tell you behind closed doors. It's just like many blacks who are in positions, high positions, but they're scared as hell. They can't say nothing. And so I drove over to Plains, Georgia, to let you know that pretty soon, some of you are going to travel over here to Plains, Georgia, and if we allow law enforcement and others to just claim and make accusations against us without any facts, without violating any law, seeing our Constitution being shredded right before our face while we blame the president. President Barack Obama didn't ban me from a public meeting in the state of Georgia. In fact, President Barack Obama haven't denied any white person or black person free passage. He haven't told you you can't leave the United States of America. He haven't stripped you of your name. He haven't stripped you of your religion. He haven't told you you can't maintain a family structure. He haven't told you don't have a right to bear arms because of the color of your skin. President Barack Obama haven't done none of these things. Yet he's called a clown. a Hitler, unpatriotic, a Satan, the Antichrist. And they expect for us to listen to Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, and others. But I appeal unto you, before this thing is over, even your children will see who the real patriots are and who are the real enemies, not only to our nation, but who are the enemies to God, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Moses, and everybody else that tried to do right in God's world. Once again, I traveled to Plains, Georgia, because I want you all to realize and to understand that sooner or later, like they stopped me, they're gonna stop you. You may come to Plains, Georgia one day, and you be pulled over by a member of law enforcement, and they'll say to you, we have a criminal trespass warrant, or they may even say you were speeding when you were not speeding, or they may say you committed a murder and you really didn't, but that's what they say, and because they say it, it makes it right. And since there's nobody else around to be incarcerated, or worse, then they use you. And if the people sit back and allow these things to happen, what in the hell or heaven are we sending our sons to die in foreign nations for? Once again, we had better wake up. It ain't about me now. It ain't just about Kendrick Johnson and their mothers and fathers. It's about all of us. It's about those who go to church and talk about Jesus and do no work of that man. It's those who join committees and say they own the Martin Luther King committee, or the Malcolm X committee, or the Elijah Muhammad committee, or the Master Farad Muhammad committee, or the Moses committee, or the Jeremiah committee, or the Ezekiel committee. But when it comes down to standing up for what is right along the lines of your children, they are nowhere to be found. Once again, this is Boston G.B.R. on YouTube. And if you want to go back to the early 90s, go to kvci.blogspot.com. I didn't just start doing this. That's kvci.blogspot.com. I do this because if I could put my life on the line for over 20 years during the Vietnam era, and if they are coming at me and denying me my rights and pushing me at the end of the agenda at public meetings in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, got speed traps. You have a man that died on Oak Street Extension where he was hit by a car twice, and they wouldn't even put up a safety rail or nothing, not even reflective devices to show that there's a hole that drivers could run into. And when you go to city council, they ignore you and laugh at you and say you're a troublemaker. But I'm here to say to you, somebody made the trouble before the troublemaker comes. Bye-bye. Be gone.